Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I've got 3 replays in the Soviet Tech Tree Tier 10 Tank Destroyer, the Object 268. Now if you do like the video, as always, don't forget to like and subscribe down below as it really does help out the channel. And yes, the 268, proper old school tank destroyer. It's been in the game for God knows how long now at this point. It's a very, very old school tank destroyer. It hits hard with 850 alpha. It's got 303 penetration on the standard AP, 395 penetration on the premium APCR. Ooh, that's a shot. Did I have 395 APCR, 395 heat rounds, I should say, which are pure filth. Nearly 400 pen, by the way, is absolutely dirty. This tank is fantastic, and that is because the DPM on it is kind of scary. It's very, very good at nearly 4.4k DPM, which is just nutty for 850 alpha. It's got very, very good camo, and I mean incredibly good camo, and that is because it is literally only 5 meters worse than the Turan. You got 242 meters of still concealment with the build that I run, which is it's just nuts. It can stay so stealthy so easily that this thing is quite hard to spot. And especially with having such good DPM, you tend to absolutely shred with this vehicle. It is turretless, so it is something that, being a casemate TD, you know, can be a bit awkward to play at times. And you can try and do stuff with your crew and equipment and stuff like that to make it a little bit better in regards of making it less awkward. But it's so satisfying to play. When those rounds hit from this gun, oh boy, does it hit. I've got 499 meters of view range with this build that I run as well, which means I don't get outspotted that much at all in this vehicle, because it will spot opponents at very good distances while also staying undetected because my camo is just that good. The gun handling is down to 0.27 with the build that I have, which is really accurate. 2.49 second aim time is quite poor though, and you will feel that a little bit, seeing as your accuracy during movement is 2.44, but your accuracy during rotation is 0.46, and the accuracy during rotation is not too bad, realistically, but then you don't really have a turret. It's more that's affecting when your gun traverses. And then the 2.44 accuracy during movement, does end up meaning that your gun does bloom out a fair bit, but not as horrifically as it could do, as other TDs do. And you will feel the 2.49 second aim time a little bit as well. You do have 5 degrees of gun depression in this tank, very Soviet in that regard. And you will see that in, I think, the next replay, where 5 degrees of gun depression is just a little bit awkward at times, and will limit some of your options as where you can take in terms of positions. But you can work your way around it most of the time, as well as the fact that the gun is quite a tall tank, but where the gun is positioned is a little bit lower, so it's not like it's a mouse, for example, in where the gun is, and you've only got 5 degrees of gun depression. You've got a 48 km/h top speed with a 15 km/h reverse speed. 15.69 horsepower per ton ratio means you do hit that 48 km/h top speed, which makes you a pretty mobile tank destroyer, and it helps you just get about and slap out these 303 pen 850 alpha rounds. And it just slaps. You also have 90 penetration on your HE, by the way, for 1100 damage, which is so usable. There are so many tanks that you'll be able to pen with 90 pen in the rears and stuff like that, that, yeah, you will do a lot of damage if you get that. And some of the really lightly armoured tanks as well, you can pen with that 90 millimeters of penetration, which is disgusting. Disgusting! Which, you know, it's the way it is. So what I've run in terms of a crew and equipment on the old 268, well, I do run Born Leader, Rapid Reload, Sixth Sense, Situational Awareness, Track Mechanics, Steady Aim, Camouflage Expertise, Silent Driving, Clutch Braking, and then Advanced Loader, the Camo Net, and Optics. Optics to be able to spot for myself so I don't get out-spotted, the Camo Net to have that ridiculous camo rating, the Advanced Loader to have that absolutely fantastic DPM, and then the Camouflage Expertise and the Silent Driving to make the best out of the camo, and not the camo down while moving as well, because if you run the Silent Driving, your camo while moving is 260 meters, whereas it's about 290 with that without Silent Driving, which is a massive difference, which is why you run it. And then you've got Steady Aim to make the accuracy of the tank generally better, and Clutch Braking, because you are a turretless TD, and your track traverse goes up to 32.7 degrees a second with that clutch braking, which is still not the fastest in the universe, and since you are a turretless TD, it is quite nice to be able to get your tracks turned quickly to be able to not get out traversed and basically done in. So So as you can see, that first game that we just played there on Pilsen, we finished with the epic victory, 4 kills, 5.9 thousand damage, the first class, the high caliber, with the 1359 base XP. A pretty damn nice game there for the Object 268. Really showed what it's all about. That when you get the gun singing, the damage just absolutely flows, and you can have an absolutely marvellous time with it. Honestly, this 152mm Soviet gun is just utterly ridiculous. I do think the 850 Alpha with the DPM is probably a little bit too much for the 268, but then again, that goes for pretty much all the tier 10 tank destroyers. I do think that having 850 Alpha is probably a little bit too much, and it does devalue stuff like the Jagdpanzer 100, for example, since, you know, they're only 200 Alpha off it. But I do feel like we should be more like PC in that regard, in the fact that they should all be 750 Alpha, and it just reduces the amount of damage that they do deal to you. Because, I mean, a lot of tier 8s, sadly, for a 268, for example, a 268 will just two-shot them, and can be a bit of a pain, whereas there's a little bit more leeway. Naturally, they're not going to have any hit points left even with 750 Alpha, but a lot of the time they might actually just about equal way and survive. But hey-ho, anyway, I digress. We're on to the second replay, and the second replay, we are here on the new map, or the new return map, which is Province. Well, it is a new map, really. I know Province was in the game before 6.0, well, yeah, before 6.0, and it has always been in the game, but realistically, this is a new map, because this isn't Province of old, this is the PC version of Province, which was a complete rework of that map. The only real similarity between the old Province and the new Province is the fact that there's 2 high ledges. That's about it, really. So yeah, we're on Province, and what we're going to do on Province is take this vehicle to a very, very strong location for this flank, and it is a very good place to go. But before we go there, we're going to go after this WZ-111QL, and this is where you're going to see the 5 degrees of gun depression is a little bit awkward. You can see I'm just manoeuvring myself into a better position on this ridge so that I can get easier gun depression. We get exceptionally lucky that that QL ricochets off our lower plate, and the 4005 ends up finishing that guy off. He was a little bit too far advanced, which meant that he got caught out and shut down. Because that's the problem with Province for me, is the fact that you... basically, each team will have to do the same thing to be able to progress, and that is they have to cross the valley. Both teams have to cross the valley to get to the other side and then progress up the 8-9 or progress down the 1-2, and that's how you win Province. And what ends up happening is you have a lot of people camp exactly where our TDs are camping currently at C8, and a lot of their team will camp at G2-3, which means that you end up in a stalemate where nobody wants to push, and you just kind of get stuck. And the team that loses is the team that pushes, generally, or tries to push a bit more aggressively down either of the flanks, and it's a bit of a suffering point. I'm not a big fan, having played this new Province quite a lot now, of this map, just because, yeah, the stalemates that occur and the fact that people just do sit in positions and never move anymore, because pushing is, well, death most of the time. But anyway, we've taken this strong position here on Province. This position is the strongest position to take on the map, because we can do exactly what we're doing here. We can shoot across at the people trying to attack towards where we spawned, and then we can also completely derail the attack of the people that do push down the 2-3 from their team. We're just trying to blind fire where this standard B was, because he was spotted a minute ago in one of these rock lines or one of these trees, and he is shooting at my TDs. So if I can put a big 850 Alpha shot into that guy, that would be great, but we don't have any success, and in fact their team are starting to push. So instead, we are going to go and try and stop these guys progressing down the 2-3 line again. This bush here is fantastic for us, because we can stay unspotted very, very easily while firing through it if we shoot at the people down there. We're not going to stay unspotted if we do come out to try and get a shot at the Waffly 100 here, but as you can see, we just got in a bit of an awkward time, because we have... well, we're very low to the ground, and the gun is very low to the ground, which means trying to see over this wall is very, very awkward while trying to get a shot at the Waffly 100. But I decided, okay, no, I'm just going to go super aggressive. We want to get rid of this Waffly 100. Let's do it. So let's try and get rid of him. You can see I am really struggling with the gun depression. Just trying to find it. Can we get it to... oh, we hit the wall there and not shut him down. I was trying to maneuver myself up onto the cliff edge, onto the rock edge, sorry, so that I'd actually get the gun depression. You can see my brain ticking again. I'm like, okay, you know what, let's do it. I could do that, but actually, let's use the stairs. There we go. We use the stairs to leverage the gun down, and we shut down the Waffly 100. We're up to 4.1k damage to 2.7k assist, because that position that we took in the bushes as well is fantastic for spotting down the 2-3 line, which means if you have people that are sitting along the 7-8 line, they can also shoot them and feed you some assistance damage, which is also great. So we're pushing in towards the E75. It's like, hello, Mr. Yag Tiger. I have 303 pen, which means I can go straight through your upper plate, and we do shut down that Yaggy Yagger. And we're going to now push it in towards the Badger and the E75. It'd be nice to shut down the Badger, because he's now a one-shot. He's just taking a big hit. But just as we get there, the Ruthless ends up shutting him down. And again, this is feeding his assistance. We're up to 3.7k damage, and we see that there's a Gorilla left. I'm thinking, I want to load HE for this guy, but I wasn't expecting him to just be sat in the open. I think, is he AFK? No, he's not even AFK, he just shot me. What are you doing, sir? Well, have my 1124 pen HE round, my son. 1100 damage on that HE round is beautiful when it pens. 1124 damage, woo. And we're finished with the victory, 2 kills, 5.7k damage nearly, with the nearly 4k assistance. I mean, that was very, very close to 10k combined. The 1547 base XP, which was first class. A really nice game again for the Object 268 there on Province. And we're on to the third and final replay of this video. And this one, we are on El Halluf. And on El Halluf, what I want to do is go and push the corner at B2. Now, 5 degrees gun depression will be a little bit awkward on that corner, but we're going to try it anyway. We've got a big boomstick. But as you can see, El Halluf is happening. And what I mean by El Halluf is happening is that my team's decided, nah, you know what, the big brawly heavy tank corner, we don't care about that. We're just all going to sit in the base. This is exactly what is going to happen. And once again, if you see that nobody is going to a flank, there is absolutely no point going there, because all you're going to do is go there, probably find half the enemy team or more, get yourself killed, and then you'll sit there moaning that the team didn't help you, you've got a rubbish team, and it was all their fault that you didn't do any damage, when realistically, it's their fault that you didn't do any damage because you got no help. But at the same time, it's also your fault because you decided to go to the flank by yourself, which is a problem. So instead, what you need to do is push your team through the camp. And that is what we're going to do here on El Halluf. My team is camping hard, which means there's a gun line. So what we're going to do is push hard along this flank here, spot the enemy team as you're seeing, use our great DPM to good effect, and then our team can hopefully get rid of them, and then when they're pushed by their team pushing down the AB line, hopefully the enemy team will then end up pushing into basically most of my team and die. So we just want to be able to get the spots in. Again, there's no point going camping with them, because if we do camp and then they push, and the enemy team push and spot us all, we'll just die anyway to their campers that nobody is spotting on the positions at H4. So the Gorilla 15 ends up blind firing us, so, well, we knew where he was going to be, so we were kind of ready for it. And we put a shell in that was a major low roll at level 743, and we're just waiting. And what I'm waiting for is to see if this guy is going to do it again. So if I get spotted and detected instantly, I'm just blind firing this bush. I'll blind fire this bush because he's pushed back into it, and that is probably the only way he was going to be seeing me. But that's not happening right now, and I'm starting to think, is he there? But is my camo that good that he just can't see me? So I pop a shot blind, see if I get spotted, and I didn't, which means he isn't in that bush. And I'm thinking, do I blind fire again? Yeah, okay, he's not in that bush. I've tried it by firing twice into it to see if I get spotted. Because like I say, it could have been a case that, you know, the 268 camo is just that good, that he might not have spotted me while I was sat stationary in that position. But also, if I fire, I devalue my camo, and if I got spotted, yes, he was in that bush. And also, if he was in that bush, I could have also penned him and killed him, which would have been great, right? Blind, it's always hilarious when you do it blind, but there we go. We're up to 1,612 assistance so far with 1,052 damage, and we see the Death Star in the middle. It's like, Mr. Death Star, what are we doing there, sir? So we put the shot in, shut down the British Tier 10 tank destroyer. Good night, Mr. Death Star. 1183 out the game. He was in a very awkward position. Their bat chat's just shoved our Vanguard off the cliff and actually come back up, and I'm seeing this guy. 932? Oh, we'll take that every day. We've scared the Batchat off the cliff, though, and, well, the Batchat's now in the open for basically my whole team, and I'm sitting there going, come on, team. And the Batchat 25T ends up shutting himself down. I was with the Batchat where he was, I thought, wow, if the Batchat doing that right, the team's got to kill him. There's a lot of people over there, but yeah, no one did. Their team is starting to push down the AE line, which is something that we've really got to start pushing ourselves, or I should say, we've got to start pushing the tempo ourselves now, so that we can stop the people that might be shooting them as they're pushing. So as we crest over, we found the Dragon. Oh, 903 and a fire on the move. That guy stings. The Gorilla 15 came out. The SU-130PM's here. I do want to get rid of this Gorilla 15 if I can. The Dragon's still in a position I can kill him. Get out of the game. Getting guns out of this game. We're up to 3 kills with 4,066 damage. I want this Gorilla 15 to die before I go after the RT and the TDs that we know are up behind us. So this Gorilla 15's in a bit of an awkward spot. He pokes out. We go for the shot. Oh, an RNG. RNG said no, it hit the dirt, but the Gorilla 15 drove out again. I'm thinking, okay, is he just going to sit there? And this is the camo. Look, this guy cannot see me. Just about get the gun depression in, and we shut down the Gorilla 15 there with the lovely round there. Camo of the 268 working to pure perfection. So I'm poking up on top of this ridgeline here to see if I can spot that artillery, see if he's still there. He's not. So instead, we're going to go after the TD and the artillery. We know artillery is around this corner. It's a Batchat. We know we can pen the Batchat with the HE. Plus, we know we can go through the SU-130PM and possibly one-shot the SU-130PM if he's still got a bit of health with this HE round. So we've got the HE round in. Hello, Mr. Batchat, 15555. 1140 damage. Oh, that's delightful. And the SU-130PM actually takes a hit from someone else as well, which means he's now a one-shot for my standard AP rounds. So we're just looking to see if we can get the shot in, but the Batchat 15555 is looking at us, so we get rid of the arty there. Mr. Piggy giving us the bacon. We bounce the SU-130PM, which makes me now go, you know what, I can take a hit from the SU-130PM, but I can also go over and just shut him down with this AP round. So that's exactly what we're going to do. It's like, hello, sir, I can take the hit. We get lucky, bounce his heat round, and we finish him off. We start taking hits from the T-54E1, which we're just duck, dodge, dip, dive, and dodging. We luckily get most of his shots. I was thinking about going all the way over to put a shot in, but I thought no, because he might get 2 shots into me there as I try to pull back, and that means he'd be able to shut me down, or artillery would be able to splash me. But you can see he's just taking a hit. He's now a one-shot for my 152, so we pull over, finish him off with a shot straight through his upper plate, and good night, Mr. T-54E1. 6.7k damage with nearly 3k assistance, and we're on 7 kills. Mr. Piggy, I want the second Piggy kill. I want my Radley Walters medal. 8 kills. It's always great to get 8 kills at tier 10. Hello, Mr. Artillery. I'm coming barreling round. You can't kill me unless you set me on fire or ammo-rack me. Good night, sweet Piggy. And we get our 8th kill of the game. I'm finished with a really nice total there for the Object 268. We finished with the victory. 8 kills, 6,900 damage, 3,000 assistance nearly. Again, nearly 10k combined. The Radley Walters, Dimitriou, Devastator, High Caliber, Top Gun, and the Ace Tanker medal for 1,881 base XP. A really great game there for the Object 268, which is a really damn solid Soviet Tier 10 turretless TD. If you like turretless TDs, you will absolutely love the 268 because the gun on it is phenomenal and the camo is also pretty damn good. You've got pretty good mobility and your armor isn't great but also isn't bad, right? It's one of those kinds of armors. So as always, everybody, thank you very much for watching and I'll see you next time.
A great success.